It was a chilly October evening in the quiet suburbs of Portland, Oregon. The leaves had begun to fall, painting the streets in shades of gold and rust. Detective Ryan Cole sat in his car outside 1427 Maple Street, sipping lukewarm coffee. The flickering porch light of the house across the street caught his attention. It was the Turner residence, the scene of a brutal murder that had shaken the neighborhood. Inside that house, 3 days ago, Mary Turner, a 34-year-old nurse, was found dead in her living room. Her husband, Mark Turner, had reported the crime, claiming he found her body after returning from work. But something about his story didn't sit right with Ryan. He had been a detective for 12 years, and lies had a smell he could always recognize. Tonight, he was back, not officially, but driven by instinct. He watched as a shadow moved past the window of the Turner house. It was strange. The house was supposed to be sealed off by the police. Ryan stepped out of his car, the cold air biting at his skin, and crossed the street quietly. He pulled out his flashlight, pushing open the unlocked front door. The creak of the wooden floor echoed through the darkness. "Portland PD," he called softly, though he wasn't on duty. No response. Only the faint sound of dripping water somewhere inside. He moved into the living room, where the bloodstains on the carpet were still visible. The air carried that familiar metallic scent, faint but unforgettable. Suddenly, a noise came from upstairs. A quick shuffle. Ryan drew his gun and began to climb the stairs one step at a time. His flashlight beam landed on a half-open bedroom door. He pushed it gently, revealing a man hunched over Mary's dresser, rummaging through drawers. "Freeze!" Ryan barked, his voice firm. The man turned, and Ryan froze too. It was Mark Turner. "What the hell are you doing here?" Ryan demanded. Mark's eyes were wide, filled with panic. I came to get her necklace. It was hers. I just couldn't leave it." Ryan studied him. Sweat beaded on his forehead despite the cold. "That necklace won't bring her back," Ryan said slowly. "But breaking into a sealed crime scene will get you arrested." Mark swallowed hard, his lips trembling. "You don't understand, detective. They'll come after me." Ryan narrowed his eyes. "Who will?" Mark hesitated, his hands shaking. "The people she was working with. The ones from the clinic." Ryan lowered his gun slightly. "Start talking." Mark sank onto the edge of the bed, his voice low and uneven. "Mary found out about something bad. She said the clinic was running drug tests on patients without consent. She wanted to go public, but a few days later she got scared. Said someone followed her home, someone in a black SUV. He rubbed his face. Then she told me if anything happened to her, to look in her locker at the clinic." Ryan felt a chill crawl up his spine. The official report never mentioned any black SUV or whistleblower threat. He took a step closer. "Why didn't you tell us this before?" Mark's voice cracked. "Because I thought you wouldn't believe me. And now they'll know I talked." Before Ryan could respond, the sound of tires screeched outside. Both men looked toward the window. Headlights flashed through the blinds. Ryan motioned for silence and moved cautiously to the edge of the stairs. A door slammed. Footsteps approached the porch. Then, the front door burst open. 2 masked men in black stormed in, holding guns. Ryan ducked behind the wall, signaling Mark to stay quiet. The men moved through the living room, whispering to each other. Ryan could feel his pulse pounding in his ears. He waited for the perfect moment, then stepped out, shouting, "Drop your weapons! Police!" Gunfire erupted, the flashes lighting the walls. Ryan fired back, hitting one of them in the shoulder. The other fled through the back door, leaving his injured partner bleeding on the floor. Ryan rushed over, kicking the gun away and pulling off the mask. The man's face was young, maybe early 20s, terrified and pale. "Who sent you?" Ryan demanded. The man coughed, blood trickling from his lips. You shouldn't have come here. Who sent you?" Ryan shouted again. The man's eyes fluttered. "Check. Locker 47. Portland Medical." Then he went still. Ryan called for backup, his hands trembling slightly. Mark stood frozen at the top of the stairs, staring at the body. "They killed her, didn't they?" he whispered. Ryan nodded grimly. "Looks like she knew too much." An hour later, the house was filled with flashing lights, police cars, forensics, and paramedics. Ryan stood outside, staring at the black SUV parked down the street. It was the same model Mary had mentioned before her death. Whoever was behind this was still watching. The next morning, Ryan drove straight to Portland Medical Clinic. Locker 47 was easy to find, tucked in the corner of the staff room. He picked the lock carefully and opened it. Inside was a brown envelope with "For the Truth" written on it. He opened it and froze. Photos, documents, lists of patients, all marked Test Group C. It detailed illegal drug trials, unapproved compounds tested on low-income patients for cash. At the bottom of the file was a list of names, and one stood out. Dr. Alan Mercer, Chief of Research. Ryan knew that name well. Mercer was a respected figure, often seen at police charity events. He had even donated to the department once. Ryan's gut twisted. This was bigger than he thought. He snapped photos of everything and placed the envelope back. As he turned to leave, a voice echoed from behind. "Looking for something, detective?" Ryan spun around. Dr. Mercer stood in the doorway, smiling calmly. His eyes were sharp, calculating. "Curiosity can be dangerous," Mercer said softly. Ryan took a step forward. "Mary Turner died because of your experiments." Mercer sighed, adjusting his cufflinks. "Collateral damage, detective. Progress demands sacrifice." Ryan's anger boiled. "You'll pay for this." Mercer chuckled. "I already have the police, the media, and the courts in my pocket. What do you have?" Ryan met his gaze. "The truth." Then he lifted his phone, showing the recording icon flashing on screen. Mercer's smile faded for the first time. Ryan stepped closer. "And the whole department's listening." Within hours, Mercer was arrested, the evidence broadcasted across Portland. The clinic was shut down, and several executives were charged. Mary Turner's name became a symbol of courage and truth. Ryan stood at her grave a week later, the autumn wind whispering through the trees. He placed a single white rose on her tombstone and whispered, "Justice served." As he walked back to his car, he noticed something, a black SUV parked across the street again. The same one. The engine started, headlights flicked on. Ryan exhaled slowly, gripping his badge. He knew this wasn't over, not yet. Because in the shadows under Maple Street, some secrets refused to stay buried.